Good morning, everybody. It's Wojo. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Today we're going to look at how to calculate our grade point averages. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you want to open up your Word document or just kind of watch as we go along, basically what we're going to look at is a sample report card. So this could be a report card of somebody that finished up their first semester at Fruitport High School, and each of their grades are kind of shown. So Algebra 1, they might have got a B+, and Biology C+, and you can kind of go down and get the sense of their grades. So if you looked at this overall, what would you say they average for a grade? Well, if you looked at this, well, they got a B, then a C, then an A, then a C, and then that D doesn't look bad, but they got another A. So is this a good report card? Well, it's kind of hard to say good or bad. Obviously, your parents are going to have a say in good or bad. You'll have your own goals that set good and bad. Grade point average is a way just to kind of normalize, or not normalize, but just look at all of grades and just say, well, on average, this person averaged about a B- or a C+ or a C. And so they look less at individual grades and more of overall grades. So to calculate your grade point average, we're just simply going to look at how many points each of these grades get. So a B+, if you come over to the chart over here, and this is the chart that we use here at our school, and most schools use a chart very, very similar. A B+ gets a 3.33 grade point. And so you could just type in 3.33 is how many points you would get for algebra. Biology, you could do the same thing. A C+ gets less points. Obviously, an A is a 4.0 and an F is a 0. C+ gets you 2.33. And if I want, I'll just go and I'll just add in all the grades really quick. A- is a 3.67. A C is a straight 2.0. You'll notice that the grades go 4.0 for an A, 3.0 for a B, 2.0 for a C, 1.0 for a D, and then an F is a 0.0. And then the minus and pluses are just a little bit under or a little bit above. So a B is a 3, so a B+ is a 3.3. You'll notice the same pattern with the C's. A C is a 2, a C+ is a 2.33. So at that point, once we have all of our point systems, then we can actually calculate our GPA. We left a note section in here so you could read it as well, but basically you're going to find the average, and it's called a grade point average. Find the average of all of our points. To find an average, you add up all of the things you want to average and divide by how many things you added up. In this case, we have 6 classes, so we're going to add up all 6 of these, and then we're going to divide that answer by 6. And that'll find our grade point average. If for some reason you only had 5 classes or 4 classes, you would add up all of them and divide by 5 or 4. It just depends how many classes you're taking. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my calculator and I'll show you some mistakes that students can make. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for grade point average. We'll do a little bit of work after that. I'll show you what you got to do in just a second. But let's take a look at calculator mistakes that some people make. Alright, so let's take a look at how you would type this in if you want to find an average. Obviously, we're just adding them up and dividing by how many classes we have, but there are some mistakes that people can make. So if you have a calculator and you're just using your calculator at home, you're just going to take and put in all the points, 3.33, 2.33, and I'm just adding them up. So I'm just putting addition in between them. The mistake that most people make is when they get done, they know to find an average, they have to divide by 6. But if I put divide by 6 right now, what's going to happen is the calculator is only going to divide that 4 by 6, and it's not going to do any of this addition. If you remember order of operations, you're supposed to divide before you're supposed to add and subtract. So if you put it in your calculator like this, your calculator is going to get confused or not understand what you want to do, and it's going to only divide the 4 by 6. So this would not work. If I did this, it would give me a GPA of 13.32. One thing you should know about GPAs, it should be between 0 and 4. It is possible to get above a 4.0 if you take AP classes, but for us today, we're going to hope for answers of between 0 and 4. And so getting an answer of 13.32 should be a huge alarm that I probably did something wrong. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to delete out that divide by 6. So here is my calculator just adding up these 6 scores. So I'm just going to add them all up. When I get done adding them all up, I'm just going to hit enter, and that's going to give me the sum. So if I added them all up, it gave me 16.66. So that's all of these scores added up. I'm going to take that answer and divide it by 6. And so if I divide that by 6, what you're going to see is that's a GPA of 2.7766. Oftentimes it'll round to the third or fourth decimal place depending on the school. So 2.7767 or 2.777, depending on how many round it. We'll round to 3 decimal places today, so we'll do 2.77, and then the third decimal place we'll decide if we should keep or round up. Since this number behind it is bigger than 5, we're going to round this up to 7. So we'd say a GPA of 2.777. And so that's what you got to do. Add them all up, get your answer, whatever that is, 16.66 in this case, and divide it by 6. Now we divided by 6 because there was 6 classes. If there was only 5 classes, you would divide by 5. And so when we look at kind of going back to our recording where it says overall GPA, that's where we got that 2.777. And so how good is that? If you look at this, a 2.777 is a better than a B minus average. So even though the student got a D plus, and they might look and go, ooh, I don't like D's, D's are bad, parents get mad at D's, they still overall average better than a B minus. And so that's not too bad of a GPA. Those are GPAs that would get you into a lot of colleges in Michigan. And so it's nice to know that as long as you get some A's, because it's averaging out, you know, having a D doesn't destroy your GPA. If you're going for the Promise Scholarship and things like that, that's a 3.5 GPA. So that's between a B plus and an A minus average. And so just get a sense of what your goals are for your classes. But to calculate it, you're going to add up all the numbers, divide by 6. If you don't have a handheld calculator at home, you can always use the calculators on your Chromebooks. You can just Google, again, I just Googled online calculator, just like we did before. And just like before, you're just going to add up all of the GPA. So 3.33 plus 2.33, and I'm just going to go through and add them again. The thing you just want to make sure you do is that you get the answer to the addition before you hit the division. So I have 6 classes of grades, just like before. I'm going to add those up. I'm going to hit enter to get the answer to that. And so remember that was that 16.66. Now I can divide that by 6. As long as you take that step of hitting enter after you're doing your addition, your calculators won't get messed up and they won't divide where they're not supposed to. So just make sure you do that when you're calculating your GPA. Remember, it's supposed to be between 0 and 4 when you get your answer. So then when you're finishing up, I just want you to go ahead and go down and answer the following questions, 1 through 5. What we're really looking at is just getting a sense of how hard it could be to figure out who had better grades. If you look at Ben's grades and Ishay's grades, and I said, well, who do you think did better? Without knowing anything about the average, if you just said, well, I think Ben did better, I think Ishay did better, then I just want you to answer that in this box here. Who do you think looked better? Don't worry about calculating it. We'll calculate it later. But I just want you to get a sense of looking at it to realize why GPA is helpful, because sometimes it's hard to say who averaged better grades. Once you pick who you thought did better, just go ahead and go down and find out the GPA points for all of these. Now remember, you get the GPA points from the chart up here at the beginning. So you'll have to do a little bit of scrolling, or you can write this chart down if you want. But remember, you're just going to go in here and you're going to say a B is worth 3 points, a C is worth 2 points, an A minus. So go ahead and enter those answers right in there. And then when you're done, you're going to add them all up, divide by 6, and put your answer in the overall GPA spot. You'll do the same thing for Ben's grades and then for Ishay's grades. So underneath there's Ishay's grades. And then once you're done, you'll see if your guess was right, who actually had the higher GPA. And then finally, what I would like you to do, and I don't want this to be confusing, is I want you to just set some goals for yourself to see what your GPA would be. So in this last box down here, it says use the table to fill in your schedule. I want you to just type in your classes. So again, this will be good practice because you might have forgot what classes you have already. So I have, let's say I have band first hour. So under first I put band, second hour I have algebra, third hour I have biology. I don't know if that's really your schedule. It probably is not. But you're going to type in your schedule, whatever it may be. And then you're going to just enter the letter grade you hope to get. I really like band. I'm going to get an A in band. I know I am. I'm going to work really hard for it. Algebra, math can be a little tough, but if I work hard, maybe I can get a B plus in there. Biology, oh, I love biology, but I hear there's a lot of reading in biology, so I'll be happy if I get a B. And you're just going to go through and you're going to just set your grades. Again, these are just the grades you're hoping to get, the goals you're setting. So you're going to put in the grades here. They don't have to be the same as mine. And then just like before, you're going to put in your GPA points based on those using the chart above. And then if you got those grades, what would your GPA for first semester be? And then that's when you'll be set with the document and you'll be all set. So that's our kind of work today. Hopefully by the end of this, you have a good sense of how to find GPA and what it means. And if you have questions, of course, just reach out. I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everybody.